Tyler McGee here, coming to you from Orange County National. Wanted to highlight a player that I was teaching online yesterday. It's a tendency I see a lot, so I thought it would be applicable to some players out there. It's the pattern of hitting more of like a push cut for a right-handed player. This player, he's a good player, so it was very I think important for him to understand what was causing what, and that's something I like to do when I'm teaching someone online or in person, making sure that they're clear for them what is the chain of events that causes a shot to do a pattern. So for him it was, okay, it's going to the right and it's fading a little bit, it's a hard shot to play, why was that happening? So for him the pattern was, as he would get up to the top, he would get to about here, and the last move of the backswing was more of just wrist motion than anything else, okay? So as we continue to go into, this is radial deviation of our wrist, that combines with some extension, okay? So that was some extension. Typically you'll start to see the face want to continue to open, okay? So as he went to the top, shoulder would stop, wrist would load more, he'd go down, wrist would load more, continuing to open the face, okay? So when we look at that, club position would be sort of close to his shoulder. There would be a little bit too much narrowness coming into the ball there with a slightly open face, okay? And he liked to lean sometimes a little bit with his body, and those three things led to a shot because the face was a little bit open. See if I can do one. The face was a little bit open and a fair amount of load in the shaft. There we go, got it. So that was like, you know, a little bit too much extension as he's loading it, okay? Led to the face getting open. So for this player, what we did was we worked on making sure that as he got to the top, the last move, instead of this motion, was more of a getting the right shoulder back to continue to maintain that hand position, okay? So instead of the face getting from here in a good position and then opening a little bit, it was moving the shoulder better. So in that last move, as he got up to the top, the face could maintain, because the shoulder would work. It would also help him maintain that wrist position a little bit better, which put it in an easier position for him to start to rotate actually through the shot and stay down, versus when you got a lot of load, usually you're gonna see someone start to stand up as they hit it to let that load out. So we were going, good takeaway from there to the top, really getting that right shoulder to get behind him so he didn't have to overwork the wrist. Usually that's the pattern. You get here, if the right shoulder stops, wrist overwork, okay? Or the elbow overworks. One of those two things happen. So we're going, getting the club in a good position on the way back, and then as he loaded up, he was getting that right side behind him, maintaining that wrist position, and then as he came down, then we could start getting back over the ball through impact to help him compress it a bit more and hit his start line, versus having sort of too much load being forward and then sort of working up and away from the ball. So this is, I always think it's a great feeling coming through the ball where you can stay over it through impact versus having to stand up through impact. I think that's super, super key for players. I'm gonna hit one more. So getting up to the top, staying over the ball through impact versus standing up through impact. It can help you minimize how quickly you have to let the face square up. It will help you sync up the swing. A lot of positives, and it's, you know, it's golf, it sort of has that, it leaves like a trail of clues, right? So for him it was, okay, we know the face was open, the ball was starting right, we know it was cutting, he had a pretty big divot, so it sort of led to, okay, the face, we got to figure out what the face is doing and why it's doing it, and it sort of led us up to the top of the backswing. Really easy to adjust. He feels clear about what he's trying to do going forward. Huge part of getting better in golf, making sure you're 100% clear of what's going to lead to progress, because if you're sort of going one thing to another thing to another thing to another thing, it's hard to really get good at that, at the thing that's going to give you the most return, right? So you can work on a whole bunch of different things, and you might, get some spurts of good golf, but it's hard to sustain it. If you work on the right thing for you, you can start to build on those things, build a better base, better foundation, start to get a little bit more repeatability in your shots, and then you can start to do a little bit better on the golf course when you're out there playing, because you know your patterns. You get there's less mental fatigue at the end of the round trying to figure out what's going on. It's, oh, if this shot happens, I did this. And it's a very, very fun way to play golf. Even if you don't hit every shot great, at least you know why the shot didn't go the way you wanted it to go, and that can lead to more clarity and better attention, focusing on the right things when you're out there playing. I hope this helps. If you wanted a little bit more help online, check out TylerMcGeeGolf.com.